stinging onion. Al? Al? Al?
I just see your desktop. I can't see anything.
Oh, shoot! This is a great start.
There we go.
Oh, God. What a disaster. Welcome to Phoenix League, everybody.
All right. If you watched our first game of the evening, you have a good appetizer for what's to come. Hopefully, the servers have recovered. But we are gonna get into hopefully a much more competitive map with Team Xcel versus Skill Factory, and this is not the Academy roster of Team Xcel. This is the ESEA Advanced roster of Team Xcel, and they are near the top of the leaderboard, I believe, of their group, if not the top, the near flawless record. And their opponents of Skill Factory have gotten themselves towards the top of their group as well. So, oh my,
Near the top of their group?
Actually, wow, never mind.
I was about to say.
Completely missed.
Here's that Group C standings.
Yeah. Xcel Esports, they did have one of their matches, I believe, against 303, who are one of the best, if not the best team in terms of pure round differential in the entire league. And they've had very tough matchups. But Xcel stomped their other series 2-0. So it should be a very close match coming into this series. Skill Factory splitting one of their matches, as well as falling 2-0 in their other series, I believe, against Team Xcel Esports Academy. So this is going to be a toss-up with no real clear winners before the game starts. So it'll really be an exciting match.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just taking a look here at my master spreadsheet of Phoenix League stats. And Xcel Esports actually looking in a much stronger position actually than I would have anticipated. They seem to be a much better CT performing team. So it should be interesting to see how they handle on some of the T-sided maps. Just last week, looking at their stats from last week, they won 19 rounds on the CT side, only 13 on the T side. So I believe they played in that crazy game, that crazy OT game, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to go ahead and get that challenger mode lobby going here, and we'll jump on into the live vetoes and hopefully jump into it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of two maps in particular, Overpass and Inferno. We've also seen quite a bit of Mirage as well. Hopefully, though, we will see one of our alternate maps. I am keeping my fingers crossed, praying to Lord RNGesus for a match of Vertigo. That would be absolutely amazing. I am almost guaranteeing that it won't happen.
Actually, I don't know. I'm not going to get your hopes up here, but some of the Xcel, or was it Xcel? I don't remember. No, I'm thinking of Ferrari Peak. They're planning on picking Vertigo.
Yeah. Ferrari Peak, we were acknowledging, despite going down, I believe it was 0-2 in their previous week 2 match, they almost secured the first PP Bison kill. That was later found to not be true, but they do hold the very coveted spot for the most PP Bison kills in the entire league. So a very prestigious record that we hopefully will see stand for quite some time. Where is Xcel Esports? Xcel Esports is in ESEA main. I apologize for the misspeak right there. And they are currently 2-0 with a recent game just I think an hour ago that finished 16-14 in the favor of Xcel Esports. Both of their wins so far in ESEA main have been on Overpass. They have their next match coming up being on Inferno. So a team that favors these very stock standard maps. And with how the vetoes have played out so far, this will very much benefit them going into this match, as we will just see the lobby going live. I'm excited to see Xcel Esports being a main team, having a very strong history in the league, as well as a team themselves. I will expect to see them have their utility down fairly strong, and that will bode well, as you were saying, Bryce, for their CT side. Being able to get that control out means a lot in terms of map control, especially on a map like Overpass, as well as on Inferno. You can see a lot of that strength come to play, and I'd assume from their banning strategy for the map picks that is where they are going to be focusing. And I'd be very surprised if we don't see at least one of those two maps make it into our series today.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to follow up with that with a whole bunch of nonsense here. We're just waiting on Skill Factory here to get on into the challenger mode, and we'll show you guys a live video, and then hopefully get into some CS. I was not supposed to be casting tonight, so sorry in advance if it is awkward. Yeah. This is not the casting debut I was hoping for, but this is gonna be an interesting matchup for sure. I think that Xcel Esports is definitely probably one of those teams that is definitely a little bit underrated right now. And so it will be interesting to see how they fare up against a very strong Skill Factory roster here. So we're just waiting on two more players to get on in, and we'll get into that map veto and hopefully see if your predictions are right.
So, I'm looking at the Twitch chat right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I am very excited because someone said that Overpass is banned, and that means that we're gonna see something different. I do like the map; it's a great map. Seen some great times on it. As a Team Liquid fan, remember very fondly some absolute slaps on that match, on that map, but we'll be able to see something new. Hopefully, it's just not Inferno versus Inferno and Mirage. Uh, that would be interesting as well. But it's going to be exciting. Really excited to see Excel, a team that I'm assuming that we'll see them in advanced next season. They're pretty solid in main so far. So raising the bar of skill in this league, and I'll be excited to see how they perform in this match once we do get those map vetoes in.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look here at the league stats once again here. Taking a look at last week's stats, and oh, what is his name? Pandoras is actually one of the top performing players last week. Actually, the top performing player for Skill Factory. Skill Factory had 3 players in the top 10 in terms of kills last week in the league. So, and Xcel had 1, I believe, and then a bunch of players just barely outside of the top 10 as well, just kind of quickly looking at the spreadsheet. So I would expect both these teams are probably going to be very frag heavy. And so that could make this be either a really interesting match, or it could be I don't know. It could be maybe just a little too chaotic to cast.
Yeah. Looking at their ESEA main league, currently they have played 2 matches and have one of the best round differentials so far. They're ranked 16th so far, with the top four teams, sorry, having a game in hand. All of those being 3-0 teams. So they're definitely up there. They're in the top bracket of teams in our league so far, looking to push themselves forward in the league. I'm really excited to see how they perform, as this is going to be the first time I've casted them. So getting a feel for their play style, as they've been one of the teams that has dragged games out quite a long time. They will not give up to the bitter end. I believe they were the team that took 303 to triple overtime. So exciting to see how they perform. They definitely have the mental fortitude. They have the gun skills, as you were saying, by the mechanical stats on all of those players. And I think that is a deadly combination, considering that their most played maps are Inferno and Overpass. That they have that strategic skill as well. That's a great mesh. And if they can carry that on, they'll definitely get themselves from that middling position towards the top of the leaderboard. However, their opponents are no slouches either, and really, it's going to be a close match given how close they are in terms of the standings in the league so far.
Well, it sounds like we're having a little bit of roster issues for Skill Factory. I'm taking a look in their match chat, and they're having to substitute a player last minute. So while they get all that stuff sorted out behind the scenes, we may have to take a quick break and wait for them to get going in the Challenger mode lobby. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are just getting started with our picks and bans. They're just selecting a server, and then we'll get into our map picks. I'm Bryce Arrow, joined once again by Al. Al, you want to go and remind everybody here your sort of expectations for this map pick coming up between Skill Factory and Xcel.
Yeah, I expect that this is going to be likely an Inferno being picked here. As I saw in the Twitch chat earlier, apparently Overpass has been banned, so that will likely see us going to one of the lesser played maps. Likely going to be a either a Mirage or a Inferno coming in, although we have yet to see the Overpass be banned out. Dust 2 and Vertigo being taken out already. Dust 2, one of the more frag heavy maps. So taking that off the board, preferring the more strategic played maps, as well as Vertigo. It is a map that almost nobody likes to play. It's reserved mainly as a pocket pick for most teams. Rarely seeing play at even the highest levels. Overpass being taken out, a bit of a surprise. We've seen it as the second most popular map to, of course, Inferno. Mirage being taken out will mean that we will see one of our less common maps, possibly two, if Inferno is being banned out. That will be
Train.
that will make my absolute day, as Train is picked. If Nuke is the next one, um
Al, you
that'll be
genius. It's Nuke.
yes. Oh hell yeah. Pardon my French, but I am very excited for that. Getting into this series, I have literally only casted Inferno, Mirage, and Overpass, and I've only casted Mirage once. It's all been Overpass and Inferno. So I thank you, Tribute CS. You are amazing. You are my savior. Um, I am so excited because we're seeing new teams on new maps. We are in for a treat.
It is, and I told you that this was going to be an excellent matchup. I was, me and Crown were talking earlier this morning, and I was just really kind of trying to push him. We should really broadcast this match. Well, Vincent has unfortunately gone to bed, so it means it's just me and you here on the production side of things. But man, this map pool already has just gotten me so excited. Train and then Nuke. It is surprising though to see Dust 2 go, one of the more fragger heavy maps, with these two teams who are obviously very frag heavy in terms of the stats. I mean, some of these teams just have outstanding players stats wise. It'll be very surprising to see some more strategical maps being played here, especially Train. I don't think we saw any Train at all in season. In week two. Zero Train picks at all.
Yeah, Train definitely one of the less popular maps. And it's been in the game forever. It is stayed relatively unchanged since the inception of CS:GO.
Mm-hmm.
Not having undergone many reworks like some of the other maps. Definitely not nearly as many as a map like Nuke, that has undergone so many changes, like Vertigo, even Mirage, or not Mirage, Inferno, which has seen quite the few changes over the years. This has been a stock standard map, and there is a ton of strategy and depth to go off of. It's one of my favorite maps, watching pro games, as there's just so many interesting things to come out of it. And it's going to test the depth of these teams. We haven't seen these maps because a lot of teams just don't play them. So it'll test the strategies. I'm going to be looking out for these teams to have their nades set up, because if you don't play a map a lot, you might not have your executes run down. And if you don't have your executes and your opponent does, that's a quick route to the second map.
Absolutely, and coming from the stats side of things, I am very excited to see Train being played a little bit more here, mainly because there's not really a whole lot of stats going based off of Phoenix League to kind of tell us how teams like to play this map. Now, sure, you could look at other places like ESEA and all other CS:GO events, but in Phoenix League itself, this is such a very barely played map that we just don't have a lot of stats to base any predictions or expectations off of yet. So it'll be very interesting to see how these two teams decide to play this map.
Yeah, and it's going to be something that I think a lot of other rosters should really look into. And this is going to be a game that is worth watching for other teams, specifically for the fact that Train has not been played. And if these matches are close, and it is close with both of these teams taking some really good strategies and bringing their A game in terms of their rotations and their executes, this is going to be a worrying sign for other teams, as they're going to have that advantage in terms of a pocket pick in terms of the map. They'll be able to keep Train on the table, keep Nuke on the table much longer than other teams would, and use them to target ban out their opponent's favorite maps. And I'll be excited to see how they get into the match. We're, of course, starting out with the knife round. Just going to be an absolute blast to see how these teams get into this.
Absolutely, and PLX taking a little bit of a longer time to get out of spawn there, as we seem to be seeing a little bit of a gentleman's agreement setting up here. Oh, maybe not, as the frags come in, and they seem to be going towards the way of Xcel so far.
Yeah, and this is the melee rounds coming in. We've seen, I believe, just a single melee kill this week. There's only been one game played, and there was only one melee kill in the series. I don't know what happened at the end of our last game in that best of two. It kind of went... I don't know how to phrase it well.
It went south.
Interesting. Yeah. I was going to use more colorful language. But we will get into the first first round of the day here on Train. And it is going to be a slow burn in this round, as we are just getting a nice look at that beautiful stat track skin, as both of these teams just poke and prod away at their opponents, none of them really wanting to get too down and dirty all of a sudden, but the pokes are coming the way of the side of Xcel Esports as they find control of Ivy all the way down on the side of this map. Xcel Esports coming up big all around as they just find control, then back off, recognizing the weaknesses of their opponents. They are just holding on to the site. Connery just getting aggressive over towards B, forcing that player out of position. The kill over towards Ivy as Xcel are... I apologize for the pun, but they are just absolutely excelling in this first round of the match. I'm sorry, Bryce.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, if somebody's got to do the puns, thankfully it's not me. As Xcel go ahead and pick up the pistol round here, and that is something that I wasn't quite expecting. To see Xcel finish that round off with 4 remaining players. I mean, we know that both of these teams are very frag heavy. I cannot stress that enough. These are two teams that have absolutely dominated in their previous 2 matches. I would expect fewer players remaining at the end of the round.
Yeah, definitely seems to trend that way. However, with Xcel just coming up against 303 in their lost best of 2, it would definitely explain why they've been overperforming in their other series compared to the rest of the midfield teams, as they just absolutely dominate their opponents in this anti-eco round. They get themselves into a great position leading forward. Skill Factory not buying anything in the previous rounds means that they have a relatively full investment into this round. Of course, they will not have a full buy. And leading on to this map, it is going to be a bit of an issue not having a full buy in terms of the utility. There's so many sightlines, so many areas that you need to cordon off. And with the fact that your opponents already have an op on the board, that is going to be a big point of contention. If Skill Factory is not able to block off those lines of sight, that op is going to wreak havoc with how much potency it has with these very long sight lines.
Absolutely, and we're going to have to watch the positioning of that op very closely here to see how they want to set him up. It seems he's currently middle of the map right now. Will be very interesting to see where he goes, but they seem to be setting up. They seem to be setting him up in that position. We'll see if he can get anything with it.
Yeah, and we can see the aggression coming out from Xcel as they don't get control of Pop Dog, but they get control above the site of B. They have control of Showers, and that means that Skill Factory has no choice but to go through Ivy over towards the A site, which they are able to manage. Now they have swamped sides a bit, all going through CT over towards the B site. The rotation is coming out from both teams as Hardy is able to find one on the rotation, quickly finds two, not quite able to find the third, but damage dealt. And Raged is now into a 1v2, just 30 points of health, and will be caught out by the sound cues tribute. The man who guaranteed us going to these maps in the Twitch chat secures a round for Xcel Esports, and the bonus round does not go the way of the T side, and a third round on the board for the CTs bodes very well as they get a strong buy underway. And Tribute, I believe he was the one who got the shotgun kill. That was one of the first XM kills of this season, I believe.
Really? Yeah, I mean, you have to admit, Tribute was holding a good position there, getting there right at near CT spawn, right in the nick of time because those two kills, and to stop these terrorist push onto site.
Yeah, aggression coming out from Xcel Esports, and perhaps unwarranted considering the buy of their opponent's decent damage found onto two members, but the shotgun executing him over towards that Pop Dog position as he tried to aggress over towards Showers. But the long range duels will just go the way of the rifles as Xcel Esports finds one. Player moving out of Pop Dog is cut down from CT Tunnel as the op just rings true. These long-range duels just going the favor of the rifles. Nothing really too out of the ordinary here. Deagles are quite strong, but they aren't exactly the most accurate at range, as this round is just going to come down to the rifle. Skill Factory unable to close the distance, and with no nades, no flashes, no smokes on the board for the T side, it's going to be a tall order for them to make their way back into this round.
And they're definitely cornered here too. They really don't have much to go as PLX picks up the double op kill to go ahead and finish off the round here. Xcel Esports up 4 and a very strong start against the advanced team.
Yeah, Xcel Esports getting themselves into a great position, and we see the double op setup coming out quite often on the CT side. Hardy just staying with the rifle, and we will not seeing that come out at this point. But it is common to see heavy investment on the CT side. It requires much more money to play this side than it does the T side, and as such, getting a strong start for the economy is crucial. But Skill Factory is getting themselves on towards the A site, the best take that they have had so far, but Hardy is able to find two, Merkin with the kill. The T side op is able to find one, but it is now into a 3v2. A battle going on towards the A site. The rotations have come in. It is the 3v2 here. Tribute finds a kill from range as it is just the T side op. He's found one kill, but the aggression coming in from PL3, and the kill goes his way. Xcel Esports find a 5th on the board. The rotations were just too quick, and that quick reaction allowed Xcel to slow down that rampage of an attack, get themselves the crossfire, and deny Skill Factory any inroads towards the site. Them getting so many rounds in a row now, 5 with no more than 2 players dying in any round, gets themselves a great position. Is already they are getting themselves into a beautiful position as PLX finds 3 kills on the trot. Rage is able to find 1, but this is over before it began.
Hwardy is just flexing there with the D kill at the end. It's not like he was on a save or anything. I mean, he had the long-range rifle, but, I mean, I have to admit, this Xcel Esports roster, coming from the producer Bricero perspective here, they have so many just fun players to watch. Hwardy, PLX2, I mean, they're just a fun roster to watch, and that's not something that you would normally expect for one of these lesser-known teams.
I knew that we were gutting in for something special when I saw that Mag 7 being traded out instead of the rifle. I believe he had an M4, so that is a significant downgrade in most situations, but the aggression coming out from PopDog is very warranted as it gains them an early 2 kills on the round. A beautiful 1-tap coming out from Hardy. The text is way too small on my screen, as Xcel Esports are just absolutely dominating their opponents in this map of Train. This was their map pick, correct, Bryce?
Yes.
It definitely looks so, and for Skill Factory, perhaps a bit of a mistake leaving this map on the board, as Xcel
No, actually, I'm incorrect. This is Skill Factory's pick. Sorry, I forgot the sides are switched.
Oh god.
This has gone terrible. No. This looks like it would be Excel's pick.
Yeah. Xcel definitely leaving this map on the board for a reason, as Skill Factory not able to find any footing in this map yet. However, it is getting off to a great start. Akashi getting 2 kills from PopDog, allowing Aspect over in towards the site, dismantling the crossfire, but Merkin gets behind. How did this happen? He's able to find the kill over towards E-Box, but the fake has been sold. The lurk gained them enough time to possibly make the execute over towards the B site, but the hit did not come in. All 3 remaining players from the side of Xcel Esports made their way on towards the site. Rage takes down Tribute, but it is still 2 members over towards the site. PLX finds a kill with the op from long range. Rage finds 1, but PLX is on 1. He found 2 kills on this round. He's been playing like an absolute monster. The Molotov just goes wide, and Foresight swinging in from Connector finds the kill and finally gets Skill Factory on the board. But with so many rounds in a row, Xcel have 5-digit bank account balances as they are just looking to extend their lead. Skill Factory, they need to string some rounds together to regain that confidence on what should be an advantageous position on their map pick.
Now, keep in mind, we have only seen one other map of Train played in Phoenix League so far. That goes all the way back to week 1. And this, according to the stat line here, it seems to be just more slightly CT-sided in terms of performance. 11 rounds won on the CT side versus 9 on the T side. So I wouldn't be expecting a 7-1 scoreline if that stat were to actually hold up, of just being barely more CT-sided than T-sided, as PLX is just killing it out there with the op.
Yeah. Looked at Twitch chat. Apparently I got everything wrong about Skill Factory. I apologize there. As it looks like Xcel are performing how we expected them to perform. They're an incredibly good team. They're at the top of main for a reason, and the fact that they have such a deep map pool, considering that their games in ESEA main have been on Overpass and Inferno. Well, just Overpass, but they've picked Inferno as well leading into our next weeks. Means that they have a deep map pool, and that's a great sign for a team, considering how strong they've performed. Granted, a lot of these rounds have come down to just gun skill alone, as Xcel has just been winning their duels. PLX has just been absolutely incredible so far, but their rotations have been on point so far as well. They've been getting themselves into great positions. Skill Factory just been really challenged when it comes to getting an execute off in time, as their opponents are just so strong. And Tribute, absolutely ridiculous. Just finding the kill onto Foresight. Another 1vx on the board for the side of Xcel. They get themselves an 8th round on the board, curtailing any hope of a comeback for Skill Factory so far. And they are just in a dominant performance in this match.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking, is that the first time we've seen the bomb actually get planted so far on the Skill Factory T side?
Yeah, I think
we're 10 rounds into this.
No, they got the bomb planted in the round that they won over towards the B side.
Oh,
it didn't really matter. We haven't seen a post plant position that really came down to anything at all, but it looks like this round is just going to be settled on gun skill alone, as well as PLX finds one Pop Dog control gained by the CT side. Aspect finds one with the T side off, but it's over before it began. Xcel Esports wins the round. And despite this being a 9-1, this is the quickest game that I've ever seen get to a double-digit round counts. These rounds have been insanely quick, aside from the one that Skill Factory did win, which did get to a post-plant position. But Xcel Esports, they've just been absolutely grinding up their opponents. They've known how to absolutely just demolish them from the beginning, gaining so much map control off the bat, and it's just going to continue with Tribute and Party getting so much map control over towards B main and through Pop Dog. Aspect is able to find two, but that is just a consolation prize. Everything else goes the favor of the CT side, and it's now once again into a 1v3. Aspect will be on for the ace if he is able to find anything. He walks out of Pop Dog, spotted over towards E-Box, will be taken out by PLX, and that is double digits found for the CT side.
Very impressive showing there by Aspect. I mean, another stat line that you really want to keep an eye on here is the preferred site that they want to go for planting the bomb. And that last match I keep mentioning here on Train, it seemed to be a lot of A site hits and not really a whole lot of B site hits. And it might be something to keep an eye on when you're watching where these when these T's are going.
Yeah, right now we just haven't been seeing a lot of hits at all, considering how much a bit of a teammate coming out there, but how much aggression the CT side has played. They've been finding control of Pop Dog as well as B main time and time again. This time around, their aggression has backfired, as that is a quick 2 kills on towards their opponent. Trigger Discipline coming out for Canary as he gets himself the information, allows his teammates to push on towards the site, plus William flashed out. Akashi is able to find one, but Canary on the flank is able to find another, and it's just down to Aspect, who is beheaded by Canary. The flank coming out, the rotations are beautiful from the side of Xcel Esports, and Skill Factory, despite getting themselves a 2-man advantage very early on, a bomb plant into a 5v3 retake, do not control their flanks and are absolutely punished for that mistake.
Al, I just want to point out here, PLX2 is 17-2 right now. He is a top 35 player right now in Phoenix League in terms of killed to death ratio. This is certainly going to help him out a lot. He is showing up strong here on Train as he gets the assist with Merkin.
Akashi beheads Swarty over towards this Pop Dog position, but everything really has just been coming up good for Xcel, and a lot of that has just been down to this man on your screen right now, PLX. He has just been dominating on the off, but the aggression is just backfiring for the side of Xcel as Skill Factory just wait for them to walk into their loving arms. But time and time again, these flanks have just been working out so well as it ends up being PLX finding the kill, finding 2. It's now down into a 1v1. Akashi on for the quad kill. PLX down for the triple. As Akashi just on 7 points of health. PLX staying out with the op, so it will not matter how low health he is on, as he finds a 3rd kill in a row in this round. Sorry, 20-2, a 10 KDR in this match so far. Absolutely ridiculous coming out from Xcel.
Absolutely, and I just cannot stress this enough. This XL Esports team is just a lot of fun to watch. I mean, they've really got a lot of personalities. We see the double ops setup here that you mentioned earlier coming out from PLX2 and Hawarde, and Merkin on the AUG. I mean, they're just memeing at this point.
I mean, you say that, but the AUG is a weapon that is incredibly good on this map. The long sightlines definitely benefit that weapon better at holding down these positions. Very static. But when it comes to the playstyle of Xcel, I would recommend them going with the M4s, considering how much more aggressive they've played. Less, you're not really paying for that scope if you're playing aggressive. And it's just coming up very strong for the CT side. Now we will see Skill Factory moving on to this post-plant position. The double op setup going to hurt their opponents in Xcel in terms of this retreat. But Barty is just performing confidently. Merkin finds one. It's just down to Foresight. A rifle being picked up. Foresight playing an Olaf will push forward with the shots, giving his position away. And pros don't fake. The bomb being stuck. Merkin finds the kill. The spam through the smoke. If that killed him, that would just add insult to injury. But the 13th round on the board. This is the fastest map that I've ever seen.
Absolutely, and of course it had to be on train of all maps. But once again, you see that A site hit coming in. It just seems to be more preferred with these teams. Maybe because it's closer to T-spawn? I don't know. But unfortunately, unsuccessful for them. As that was just a beautiful retake from Xcel. You really can't get much better than that.
PLX finding another kill. This is him just grinding up stats at this point. 21-4. Did fall a bit farther from his 20. What was it? 20-2 scoreline. But so far, Xcel, if they can get this half to 14-1, not gonna happen. But very close. Just 13 points of health remaining on the side of Skill Factory in that round. Canary muted. Interesting to see. I saw a bit of banter in Twitch chat. Didn't know what that's about, but will be exciting to see as PLX is just leading this leaderboard. And after this series, he's gotta be top 10 in the stats. That is just gotta be assured. If this series continues this way on the second map of Nuke, which is Xcel's map pick.
Yeah, I mean, I can't make predictions on how Nuke is gonna go because we just haven't seen it much in Phoenix League yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if Xcel's got some cheeky Nuke play strats coming up here. As now Xcel's just starting to dominate on the T side all of a sudden. I mean, they're looking strong. As Foresight says, never mind, Caster Curse is going to come in here.
Yeah, Skill Factory, they've been struggling on this T side. Possibly the CT is what they need. But Xcel getting themselves into a good position. The post-plant position, just 36 points of health on towards Rage. Does have the USPS, which is better at range, but given how difficult this post-plant position is with the area that PLX is able to play, it's such a difficult 1v1. And considering that this is just a 1v2, Xcel should be easily able to find a 14th on the board. It's pretty much guaranteed. Merkin finds a headshot onto Rage. The beautiful strafing tap onto him, and likely with this next round nearly guaranteed for the T side. This has got to be a second map of Nuke coming up quickly.
Uh-oh, Tribute.
I would expect them to find some kills with this PP Bison, but considering how strong this team has been, I don't know if he's even going to find people before this round is over. He tries to spam through the smoke. Best weapon really to do that other than the Negev. He finds one. That ties them for the second most Negev kills of any... PP Bison kills of any team, but just like I was expecting, the round's over before it even began, and we might not see them be able to break the record as what could be better than one PP Bison? Two. They're all behind them.
Oh!
Yes. They
the
heard my
entire
voice.
the entire PP Bison buy is out here. I told you Xcel was just memeing at this point. I mean,
They're in Twitch chat. They're in Twitch chat. Tributes memeing. Oh my god. XL Esports. They're getting themselves into a great position. Merca gets taken out. 2 kills on the board. The PP Bison coming out for the CT side as well. What is this fuckery coming out? Plus, William is able to find one. He does not find it with the PP Bison. I am disappointed in you, Skill Factory. As XL find the kill. 5 PP Bison kills on the round.
that's
I'm
just
excited.
nuts. That is just nuts. Welcome back to the Phoenix League, everybody. Week 3. It's just already in full swing here. You couldn't have asked for a much better ending than that. Skill Factory probably could have asked for a better ending, but yeah. Yikes. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I mean, we were hoping for a more competitive match, but I mean, if it was gonna be a one-sided match, I couldn't think of a better one-sided match to see.
I don't know. I don't know.
Lan, he's on a 5.0 KD on Lan. Okay. Let's see.
I mean, I've seen a lot of really close competitive games on Nuke. I wouldn't be surprised if Nuke is a lot closer than this train map that we just saw.
Yeah. Looking at we've said a lot of the praises. We've sang a lot of the praises of Xcel because there have been many. But looking at some constructive criticism for the side of Skill Factory, you guys need to recognize the aggression of your opponents. Xcel played hyper aggressive on towards the CT side. I have not seen a CT side more aggressive in the Phoenix League than this team on this map of Train. They played to get map control away from their opponents. They took control of Pop Dog nearly every round. We saw them, as soon as they got map control, utilize it to its fullest extent. They were taking aggression towards T-Spawn from Ivy every time they won the duel at Ivy. They got control of the map and they utilized it. Skill Factory, they need to prevent that from happening by not allowing their opponents to gain that map control in the first place and to recognize the potential for aggression. They've been caught out with their knives out, with their nades out too many times. They need to play more cautious and they need to recognize the potential of their opponents before they run into the site without being prepared.
I feel like Nuke is a little bit different than other maps like Inferno and Mirage that we've been seeing. Nuke is very important that you go ahead and hold down, or not really, you need to be like more, what's the word I'm looking for here? You need to be more like consistent with your executes on Nuke, because Mirage or Inferno, you've got a little bit more space to work with, but Nuke is very tight corridors and very, it's if you mess up, you're done for. I mean, there's not really a lot of room to work with on Nuke. So I would say if I'm Skill Factory, when it comes to this Nuke map coming up here, which we didn't pick, we need to go ahead and make sure our strategies are up to par, because this could be this could be a disaster if we're not careful.
Yeah, and speaking with both sides, I think the CT side is arguably one of the least forgiving of any map in the game because of the difficulty of the rotations. Making your way from that A site towards a B site, if you don't have strong map control, can be a death sentence. Dropping through vents, you can just be absolutely grinded up. A single player with a rifle can find as many kills as players on your team. And without the ability to really peak that angle effectively from above, considering that it's a ladder and you're going to be dropping down and into the waiting arms of your opponents with the peaker's advantage relatively neutralized, considering that you are falling. And you have to wait till you land before that accuracy resets to standing accuracy. It's just going to be a very difficult position for the CT side to be in. And considering that this is Xcel's map pick, I would expect them to have their rotations on the CT side down pat. So I hope for Skill Factory's sake they have prepared at least their rotations on towards the CT side. If they aren't significantly prepared for this map of Nuke, I hope for their sake that they pick the T side as a first CT side on a map that you don't play, especially if that's Nuke. That can be absolutely disastrous and could lead to, if it's even possible, a quicker second map than the first map of Train.
Now, Nuke is a map that we've seen a little bit more here in Phoenix League compared to Vertigo and Train. We've seen in weeks 1 and 2 4 maps of Nuke played, which obviously doesn't sound a lot when I say that Inferno and Overpass were played a combined total of 34 times. But Nuke has gotten some occasional picks here and there, and I do believe we actually did get to broadcast it just last week. I'm not quite sure if you were there for that one or not.
I unfortunately wasn't.
You were not. I think it was Benakage on the mic for that one. It was a very close game. And
then it definitely wasn't me.
Yeah. And now that I remember that was a close game, yeah, it wasn't you. But that's kind of why my impressions of Nuke so far are that I would expect a close game here as long as Skill Factory shows up prepared, because this is a map that it could very easily go either way.
Yeah. Unfortunately, looking at how the previous match went, that could be a bit of a tall ask, but anything can happen. It's not over until the fat lady sings, and considering that we haven't seen anything so far on this map for either of these two teams, a bit of a blank slate. This being said, this is excellent material for other teams to see how these teams perform on these maps that we rarely see. Obviously, not a ton that you can glean from the map of Train. I guess leave that map up against Skill Factory. That's not a map that I really expect Skill Factory to play again. I'm surprised that they picked it. Xcel, definitely the more prepared team coming into this series so far. I believe Skill Factory are the ESCA Open roster, whereas Xcel is top of main. But going on to a map like Train, that being more of a pocket pick, it's always a risky strategy, and high risk, high reward did not work out for them. So I'd recommend that they go to something a bit more consistent if they're going up against a team who has prepared on that map of Train, as that pocket pick just did not find the footing that they were looking for.
Well, we're going to go ahead and hop on into the knife round here. Just a reminder, so far, the stats line that we have seen so far in Phoenix League seems to suggest Nuke being one of the more CT-sided maps, so this could be very pivotal in which team gets the upper edge and the start.
Yeah, Antidote, I see you in chat. It really just could go any way. This is a great game of CSGO. It could be really close, and as you can see, this first round, we're seeing Skill Factory get around on the board. I don't know what you're saying in the Twitch chat. This really could go any way. As Skill Factory, they're picking up the knife round. This is definitely a solid possibility for the CT side. They are electing to stay on the CT side, so
smart choice.
This is going to come down to the rotations. If they do not have the rotations down, this will be an absolute wipeout. But with a limited sample size, anything can happen. I say that with a very large asterisk, but keeping it out there.
Well, they seem to be going towards ramps here is plus William gets the early frag onto Bulldog, the muted player, I believe, and very quick execute. Not really much to do in terms of rotations there, as we seem this ramps fight start to develop a little bit more here. Yeah, frag's going either way in this pistol round. We now got ourselves a 2v2, Al.
Yeah, considering how strong Xcel was in terms of their strategy, I think that this is a one of the better opportunities for Skill Factory to strike out in this match so far. Foresight getting the aggressive kill onto Merkin, making this post-plant position possible, but Huarty getting himself into a very sneaky position, going on towards the outside. This could be a position that they are not ready for. But Aspect not dropping down from heaven, playing within that smoke, is able to find the kill. Skill Factory get themselves the first round on the board on the CT side, and that does bode well. They did not look like a team that is just going to get absolutely bulldozed on this map, and that could bode well for them going into the second map of the best of two, where they really need to pull some rounds back to help their round differential, and they need to get themselves into a better position, as they are standing 1-4 now in terms of maps so far in this league so far.
Well, I was just about to point out, Foresight and Aspect buying the M4s straight off of the pistol, and they seem to be getting their money's worth with those, as they combined for 3 kills total, and now it's all up to PLX2, one of the more fun players to watch on this Xcel Esports roster. Looking like he's in a little bit of a tough spot there as he just kind of sits in lobby.
Yeah, it is a 1v4. If there's anybody that you would want in the 1v4, it would be this man. He does have a helmet, and now the Galil. So this is a doable round. Much more doable than I would really expect if it was any other player. But we will see them get taken out. Unfortunate to see the caster's curse working as always. And with the investment in the previous round, Xcel is going to have to forfeit what typically is the bonus round. The second round bye, very good for the T side, considering they had the plant down, but just not able to make anything work with the Galils, and it's just going to come down to the Deagles, able to find one, but not all that much more. Foresight finds a kill from the smoke. Beautiful kill coming there. PLX finding one. But really, they're going to have to find at least 3 to make this a substantial dent in the economy of the CT side. And as he finds Akashi, this makes it a lot more doable. There is a potential for him to secure one of these weapons. 2 rifles being secured for the remaining CT players, but now PLX2 with a rifle in hand, a single incendiary grenade. He does not have the map control that he would desire, but he is getting himself into a position, still a minute on the clock. Anything is possible, and he would be able to make a solid execute on towards the B site through the ramp position, as I don't believe anyone is covering this, and he should be able to get the post plant off. And this could be a very difficult position for Skill Factory to be in. Still advantageous, as they have a massive health advantage, utility, and pretty much everything. But definitely not out of the question for their for PLX2, as he gets into a great position, and it is going to be a decently long rotation coming out for the side, as he does not end up going to be. I misread that completely. I don't like reading the mini map on this map.
I don't either. I mean, that was. I mean, I was about to point out, if he goes to B, they're gonna have to be very quick on that rotation, because they're holding that heaven position towards A, and so, I mean, he had the upper hand if he had just gone down ramps towards B, but I guess not. Thinking he could outsmart them, maybe go for another A hit as tribute with the nice wall bang there onto Foresight, and once again, I mean, Xcel is winning some of these opening frags, but they just can't seem to convert after that.
Yeah, hindsight is 2020. However, a very punishing round in the previous one for the side of Skill Factory means that they are going to be on a bit of a rough patch if they do lose this round. Their economy is in a bit of a tough spot. Plus, William with the op moving down towards B, holding on towards site as Xcel get themselves map control, and this is going to be the best chance at a round since a pistol for the T side, as they're finding kills everywhere. Plus, William finds one over towards the B site with the op, but is taken out as Xcel now have control of nearly everywhere except for ramp. The retake is going to come out, but it will be stalled down by the Molotov. Hardy gets aggressive and is punished for that, but it's going to be a difficult position. Time ticking down. They are able to find the kills, but the CT side is going to run into the sixth T player in this post plant position, and that is Time itself. Merkin moving forward. The stick had to come out considering the time left on the table. And without the defuse kit, Merkin able to swing wide, able to find the kill, and Skill Factory able to find 3 in a row, but they will have to eco by considering how much work PLX did to cut down their opponents. And Xcel will have a full buy, except for, I believe those are Galils on Bulldog and Quarty. They're able to build a bit of a buffer for themselves. PLX 2 taking the op from Plus William, and they should be able to get themselves a good position, although the Deagles are working magic for the CT side.
Absolutely, and you know, I don't like the Galil hate as much. I know it's not technically an entirely a full buy, but Galils aren't that bad, as we see. Wow, Merkin and Bulldog getting their money's worth here. Is now Skill Factory just down to 2 here, as Merkin is holding on for his life here. 8 HP and a dream with that AK, as Rage is going to get the free kill here. Just holding on out there as Skill Factory pick up their 4th.
Yeah, this is surprisingly a much closer game. We were saying that in the reason, for a reason in the pregame antidote. Saying that in chat. I know you're still there. But that is the nature when it comes to these lesser played maps. You have such a lower sample size, and resulting there's just such a wide disparity in how much these different teams have prepared for these maps. As we can see, Xcel Esports is really struggling. They're on a deagle buy this time around, not able to buy all that much more. But even with those weapons, they are not able to get really much done. We've seen the closest rounds coming out for the side of Xcel have just been just up to the wire. They have not found the same dominating success that they found on the previous map. Yes, they were not on the T side nearly as much, but in terms of their gunfights, they just have not found the same success as they previously did. And Skill Factory has been stepping up. They've found their rotations better. Rage is surely going to find this final kill, as Xcel find 2, but really, they need to find success in these buy rounds, and Skill Factory have really turned a corner. They figured something out in between these 2 matches, and they look like a completely different team this time around.
Which is surprising, because this is, reminder, Xcel's map pick. So we see teams here trading each other's map picks, which is kind of surprising with these 2 lesser picked maps out of our map pool. You would think that if they are going to go for the lesser picked map that we don't really see that much, it would be a map that they're very comfortable on. And William is just going to hang out there, pick up that free frag onto Hardy. And now we see this ramp hit starting to come on in here for Xcel.
Yeah, granted this is the T side of Nuke, but considering how Xcel performed in the previous match, I definitely would expect them to be performing better, considering especially how Skill Factory performed on their own match. We know how punishing the CT side can be if you don't have your rotations down, and Skill Factory has been playing this aggressive position quite well. Merkin is able to find 1, but once again, Skill Factory are just getting themselves into the position. They've shored up a lot of the fundamental errors that they've made in the previous rounds, and they haven't been getting over aggressive. They haven't been getting caught out as much as in the previous match. Yes, that is due in large part to the fact that they are on the CT side and they don't have to make the execute. They don't have the real possibility of them being caught out with their knives out on rotations, getting caught with their nades out before an execute. But we see them having turned a substantial corner, being a lot more patient with these games, and getting themselves a 6th round on the board in a row. It's a great performance so far, and Xcel having to bounce back on their map pick, definitely not what they were expecting, considering the first map that they had on train.
Then again, I mean, it is CT side nuke. They did lose that knife round, so they're gonna have to catch up here when they do finally end up getting on the CT side. Here is Bulldog with the impressive kill here. It's an interesting buy. Once again, we're seeing 3 AKs and a couple of Galils once again here for Xcel.
Yeah, the Galil, a very strong weapon considering the bang for your buck that you can get. It's one of the best in terms of efficiency, in terms of cash in the game. It allows you to get the rifle by with a lot more utility than you previously would, and it allows Xcel to get this execute in a much quicker fashion. But the AK coming out from Huarty, the tap fire, able to find that one-shot headshot, and that is the major detraction of that Galil, not having that one-shot headshot that you really benefit from with the AK coming out there. And we can see the round going the side of Xcel Esports, and quickly a timeout being called right there. This is game 2. Yes, for those of you in chat.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we don't have the BO2 thing set up on the HUD, so it's a little bugged out.
Yeah, Xcel.
I feel like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Xcel won 16-2 on the first map, and that was Train. But this is a much different affair. Xcel struggling a bit, but definitely getting themselves into a good position. They have money on their side, keeping several players alive, and really putting the economy of the CT side in a difficult position. Ooh, looks like I think that might be you with a bit of the mic. Yeah. Is it me that has to turn down, or is it the other caster? The other caster is the producer, and so yeah. The other caster is sorry. Yes, I know. The other caster is Bryce Sarrow. He is the observer and producer, so he has a ton of stuff on his plate right now. We'll be sure to get that. It's just he's doing a fantastic job. I love working with this guy. Absolutely tip-top production. As we see the force buy coming out for the side of Skill Factory, is they find one of the few Nova kills in this league. But if there's any map to have that weapon shine on, it's probably this map of Nuke. You can get so much work done with those close quarters angles with the shotgun. I would have liked to see the Mag 7. It's just a much better shotgun all around than the Nova, but to each their own, as Skill Factory are still in a 3v3 moving late into this round.
Yeah, seeing the B execute here now as we're in a bit of a 2v2. Skill Factory with the HP advantage. And this is what we're talking about when we mention those rotates. Skill Factory are already entering the site. I mean, that was fast.
Yeah, they do get the rotation off quick, but Xcel just in a much better post-plant position. The crossfire working out for the T side much better as Bulldog finds a kill onto Aspect. That was, I believe, Cactus in the previous game, the muted player. As the T side gets the steam going, gets themselves into a better position, and they're starting to string the rounds together. Skill Factory, partially buying into the previous round, now is in a difficult position. Plus, William buying up the Nova another round in a row as Wardy entries on towards the A side. Akashi finds a close range kill with that Deagle. The swing coming out from Tribute is able to find one. The trades are coming in for the side of Skill Factory. The close range pistols working out as the Deagle is so strong. 2 taps to the chest of an even armored player, but Bulldog finds a kill through the smoke, ending the cycle of those trades, and Skill Factory crumbling in the post-plant position as Xcel has seemed to find their mojo. They are much better in this round, a much closer, well-oiled machine moving forward as they are now the ones in control of this match. They have a full buy. Their opponents force buying into this round in a very disorganized buy at that. You see plus William full buying out with an op and full utility, and players like Aspect not even buying a rifle, just going to be on a Deagle, full armor, but no utility considering 2300 in the bank. Confusing to say the least. As we see another round just dominating and going the way of Xcel Esports. A beautiful 3K coming out from Fwardy as Bulldog finds a kill onto Akashi, and another very short round, the favor of Xcel Esports.
Taking a look at some of the kills and deaths for these players, it's a much different story than what we saw on Nuke. I mean, we're seeing players like Huarde only with 8 kills this late into the game. It's very different from what we saw on Nuke. You can definitely tell it's a much more even matchup, sort of like we were hinting at in the pregame with Aspect with the stunning Deke headshot there on a Bulldog. But we've got ourselves a 3v3, make that a 2v3 as the bomb. Oh, where is the bomb actually? Still actually sitting down just outside a lobby there. It looks like Party's gonna pick that up, but now Aspect's gotta get his work full there with the M4. He's got 1 down, just 2 more left in this 2v1 situation.
Yeah, 2 points of health in a dream. A difficult retake scenario, to be honest, and the Kobe nade not quite finding had to give that the respect it deserved. A stray bullet could end this round here, and now as Merkin finds a kill through the smoke on towards Aspect, a 6th round on the board, a 5th round in a row for the side of Xcel Esports, and the CT side of Nuke now just crumbling for Skill Factory. As Xcel, they found their mojo, they found the execute strategy that has worked for them, and they are just exploiting that as now they're just getting themselves into a solid position. They're making this execute over towards the A side incredibly quickly this time around. Huardy finding the entry kill quick as ever, and Shortside is able to find one, but it's just going in favor of Xcel as they are just finding this map control so much quicker into the rounds, baiting the rotations out for the side of Skill Factory and getting themselves on towards the B site and into these post-plant positions so much quicker.
Yeah, I mean, before you knew it, those players on the side of Xcel had already been traded out. We've got ourselves a 3v2 here. As William and who was that? That was Bulldog there, having a little bit of fun there, pushing and closing the doors there. I mean, just what an interesting matchup. As now we see how the tables have turned here. Xcel now with the strong economy. I mean, PLX has got 7k, Bulldog's got 12k. Meanwhile,
yeah,
the economy on the CT side is just absolutely in shambles right now.
Yeah, and so many close rounds in a row for Skill Factory, unable to really build this this advantage up in terms of the economy. It's just worn down. They have not ecoed several rounds in a row, which has resulted in them not being able to buy up any ops, which has sacrificed complete control of outside. Not that Xcel has been really flexing anything towards that side, They've just been mainly executing through the main part of the building itself. And to that degree, they've just been doing an incredible job. Tribute finding 2 entries in individual 1v1s, just going the way of Xcel Esports this time around. They've got the utility dump perfected this time around. Rage is able to find one, but that is just going to be a consolation sign. Wolves are circling as Xcel finds the kill, and that is an 8th round on the board, 7 in a row, looking to close out the half 9-6, and momentum on the side of the T's, as that just what looked to be a great start and momentum building up for this CT side has just evaporated in the blink of an eye.
So, what do you think changed for Xcel here? Was it just raw skill, or did they actually sort of change their executes a little bit here? Or are they just winning fights?
They got the execute over towards the A site much quicker. They were layering their utility much sooner into the round. They were able to force the rotations from Skill Factory over towards the A site, and quite some time they were winning these opening gunfights towards this A site. That's something that they were doing in the early rounds and a half as well. But more than that, they were really exploiting the rotations from Skill Factory more. They were getting themselves into positions where they could capitalize on the mistakes of their opponents, and they were able to really work together as a team. They were trading out, and they were getting themselves into a great position. As you can see there, they're able to recognize exactly where their opponents are. They layer their utility. They double peek. They find the trade frags incredibly well. And now that it's into a 1v1, PLX is in a great position. He gets the plant down, rotates away, and plus William has slinked away just 7 points of health, and an op on the retake is going to really be a difficult position for him to try and close out the half. 8-7. Not really a scoreline that you would expect to see going into this half, especially if you saw the beginning of this half. But Xcel Esports clawing their way back 8 rounds in a row, and an absolutely immaculate performance from them in this second part of this first half.
I mean, just look at that trend there on the timeline. I mean, you see a very strong performance there initially from Skill Factory, and then all of a sudden it just changes here. Wow.
Yeah. An absolutely dominant performance coming out from Xcel on the T side in that second part. They now move to the CT side, and this is where I start to really worry for the side of Skill Factory. Tribute absolutely on one as he finds 2 kills. Bulldog finds another 2. Merkin cleans up with the final 2 kills himself.
The team kill too.
As Xcel finds double digits, yes. 6 kills for the side of Xcel Esports. They are not to be outdone by their opponents. You're going to find an ace. We're going to find a hexakill. Absolutely excellent performances here. Bulldog, the muted one, surprisingly not the one who's team killing. As we see it, Skill Factory in a difficult position. They will fortify somewhat up into this round, and it will find good effect as aspects of the first round, although aggressive performances coming out from Xcel. This is what we expected to see coming into this match. They were hyper aggressive on the map of Train, and that is a trend that they're continuing on to this next map. Tribute finds one with the MP9, closes the doors, and gets himself back into control room in a dominant position. Rage now is finding themselves at the victim of the doors again. Tribute finds another 2 points, and he's an absolute beast on this map. He's been showing up incredibly well. PLX finds the final kill as Xcel finds an 11th round on the board, and just absolutely ridiculous performance from them. They are running and gunning with these MP9s. They're playing this game like, I don't know.
I absolutely love that door play from Tribute. That's something I'm going to have to borrow in my own matchmaking games. I mean, open the door, know exactly where they are, shoot your shot, close it, and then continue to play from that same position or get their next couple of frags. I mean, that's aggressive.
again, you gotta say, just watching this team, they are just so entertaining to watch. This hyper aggression on the CT side, Merkin just running them down, aggressing in towards T-Spawn. Bulldog rotating through, finding a kill from T-Spawn as well, as just Xcel are just having a field day. Their CT side, as you were saying before, so strong, as just their opponents not really prepared for this aggression, as we see the typical strength of the nuke CT side coming from how difficult it is to execute on towards the site. And Xcel are just saying, screw that, we're just going to get aggressive. Running in, Tribute find a kill early in. Rage sitting outside of Hut with the sawed-off, not a weapon that you see too often at all. But Xcel, they're just running and gunning, and sometimes it works out incredibly well, as we've seen so far, but sometimes it can backfire if your opponents are aware of that. Rage gets taken out with a Molotov. I don't know where that happened. And now it's back into 2-on-2. Xcel are just contesting everywhere on the map, and they know exactly where the bomb is. They're just contesting the outside, and Foresight, he may have control of the sites themselves, but Xcel have the bomb, and they're just waiting for you to come towards them, and this is just an absolute masterclass on CT-sided aggression.
It's not very often you see aggression from the CT side, especially on a map like Nuke, where you really have to watch your toes and make sure you're holding down those angles very carefully. Xcel says, screw that, we're just going to run on in and gun them all down. I mean, they're jumping all over the outside. They're just pushing on through in a lobby. I mean, it's a very different CT side, as someone who has produced quite a few games on Nuke, that I've ever seen. And I'm honestly kind of shocked by it. I mean, I don't think if you're Skill Factory, you were expecting this kind of play from Xcel on the CT side. That being said, you mentioned Sawed-Off, one of the more rare shotguns that we see. Only 14 kills in the first 2 weeks of Phoenix League action here with that weapon, so very interesting to see it being used a little bit more in this matchup as well.
Yeah, I like the idea of the sawed-off, recognizing the aggressive plays that have come out through Hut. But Xcel can just play more measured. The PLX finding the long range kill to the off. Span coming out from the remaining players of Xcel on towards this A side. Aggressive plays from Bulldog with the M4, able to find one through just A main as well. Bulldog just getting aggressive now, pushing in towards B. Through back ramp, and they're just absolutely slaughtering their opponents. They're just getting hyper aggressive. They're pushing through Squeaky, just trapping their opponents in trophy, not allowing them any footing at all. And Skill Factory, they just look absolutely lost. They have no idea how to deal with this aggression. If you go inside, you're just going to be slaughtered. If you go outside, you're allowing the players of Xcel to just aggress through the T-sided inside, and anywhere you go, you're absolutely screwed, because you're going to be running into at least one of these players. PLX rotating outside is able to find two with the op. Foresight is able to find one, but that is just a consolation prize. I'm saying that word a lot. As Bulldog gets aggressive, and Xcel Esports now moving over towards the CT side. They're speed running this second half, and a flawless half so far. 6 on the trot, looking to make that 7 and close out this match in a fairly spectacular fashion.
I mean, we see Twitch chat memeing about it being a close map. I think honestly, we see the team kill there with the Zeus. I mean, I think honestly, if Xcel wasn't playing so aggressively, this would have been a much closer map. I just don't know where all of this aggression came from.
Yeah, Skill Factory definitely put up a more solid performance than we've seen. And they did keep it relatively close. But Xcel just turned a switch on, and they turned back into the Xcel that we saw in the first map. And, as a caster, you gotta be nice. You can't really rag on teams all too much. You have to give the potential for them to do well. As we can see, Skill Factory likely getting themselves the first round on the board here as Aspect decapitates Merkin, and it's just Hwardy left with the M249 is decapitated himself, and Skill Factory finds first round on the board. Uh, yeah, Xcel definitely memeing with the LMG buys. But you do have to just recognize the potential that is in for each teams. Recognize the unknown factors of Nuke. But that being said, yeah, we were completely wrong. XL just showed up once again, like they did on the previous map, dominating their opponents. Aggressive plays coming out, but Skill Factory, they've recognized the mistakes that they've made. They recognize the aggressive plays that their opponents have been taking against them, and they got themselves into a good position. And that's exactly what you need to learn how to deal with it. But almost as soon as they learn from their mistakes, they just get absolutely slammed again, and this time on a Nico buy. And Excel, my God, what a match! PLX definitely my MVP. But that was, yeah,
I don't
that was
know.
rough.
I don't know. Merkin was always there for the trades. He finishes 24
Yeah,
and 13. I mean,
yeah. Just considering how solid PLX was on the first map,
mhm.
uh, in that BO2, that was ridiculous.
So
Oh
Xcel,
man,
I mean, I definitely didn't have them winning this. I have to give them credit. But wow, I mean, that was just an absolute surprise. Glad we broadcasted that match. What a fun one.
yeah. That was not exactly the most competitive series going into it. I definitely had the other opinion favoring Excel, considering the fact that their two map losses came against 303, who is an ESEA advanced team. And adding to that, they are an ESEA advanced team who is currently 2-0 and is like, I think, first place in the SEA Advanced, at least first place of the 2-0 teams in terms of round differential. Um, but I did not expect that to be this this one sided. It was an absolutely amazing match. Really, really cool to see. Um, Going in. Um, but yeah, um, really exciting to see some more action. I'm saying exciting a lot. I really hope that we get to see Excel more in the future. They're definitely a team that I'd have pegged to take it far into the playoffs. They definitely had depth, but it seems like a team that you really have to watch out for that CT side because they get incredibly aggressive and it works absolute wonders to teams who are not prepared for it.
Absolutely, and honestly, Excel is definitely a team that I am looking forward to seeing, hopefully, as a producer, in the playoffs this season. I mean, they just look like they're so much fun to watch. I mean, hopefully, everyone in Twitch chat enjoyed watching them as well. I know it's a little bit of an awkward cast tonight. Normally, I am not in front of the camera or behind a microphone that people can hear, besides the casters. But it was definitely very interesting getting to see these two teams. I'm glad we did decide to go ahead and cover them tonight. It was a lot of fun getting cast alongside Al. Al definitely the MVP here of the cast for sure. Um, Man, one thing I cannot wait to see in this group though is going to be XL versus their own academy team. I mean, their academy
Oh, that
team
is,
put up a competitive fight against Skill Factory in week 2. So, I mean, that is going to be nuts.
yeah. Considering that Skill Factory and XL Academy were evenly matched, I believe they split 1-1
Hmm.
on maps.
And both of those went
Yeah,
to OT.
yeah. It's gonna be a yeah, it's gonna be a I assume a more of a one-sided affair, but considering that these are both teams from the same league, sorry, not from the same league, yeah, from the same league, but from the same org, I could expect that to be a bit of a meme fest.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited to see that match. It is going to be absolutely hilarious. I expect you guys to play at least a single round of just pure PP Bisons. If you do, I will love you. I will love you even more. Tribute. I know you're in chat. If you guys play Vertigo, that will be like a very belated Christmas present.
Absolutely. Only one map of Vertigo played so far this Phoenix League season. Uh, I don't know. I guess that's going to be it for us. I mean, it was definitely an interesting cast, that's for sure. Congratulations once again to Xcel. We definitely probably gave Skill Factory a little bit too much credit coming into this, but neither of us really knew too much about the teams other than from my perspective as a producer here at Phoenix League. Skill Factory and Xcel are two teams that I've been watching very closely in the demos and of course in some of the games that we've broadcasted as well, and they both are very strong teams. So even though we saw a bit of a one-sided affair tonight, I would give Skill Factory a lot of credit. They're a very strong team as well. Didn't quite show up as much tonight, although that CT side start for Skill Factory on Nuke actually wasn't too bad. It just kind of fell apart when Xcel just went beast mode. But it'll be very
Yeah.
interesting to see these two teams and their future in Group C.
Yeah. Um, that yeah, looking at the chat, unlucky timing with them having a sub. Obviously, going to throw a bit of a wrench into the plans. But I, all things being equal, exciting to see Excel takeaway. They've just been absolutely dominant. Exciting to see how they perform. Speaking of the SEA, we've been talking about it a lot. Hopefully, me and Bryce are going to be covering some ESEA advanced games. Been looking to cast some stuff outside. So make sure to follow Bryce on Twitter and Twitch. He's an amazing producer and he does a lot of cool stuff. He had some amazing draft night tournaments for Valorant and some other games, which are pretty awesome. Top notch production quality. If you thought that the "Be Back Soon" music was an absolute banger,
It
you'll
was.
love the work that he has in store. So it'll be exciting. But I think that's all that we have for the broadcast tonight. Be sure to follow the Discord to get the alerts for the upcoming games and for the schedules. So excited to see you guys all in the Discord and in the future broadcasts.
Thanks, guys.